Are Manchester City over reliance on Rodri? Are Manchester City in a mid mini crisis, mid-season crisis? Well, it's not really mid-season, but will they be in this rut for the rest of the season? And that's the question I'm gonna try and answer, even though it's a bit rhetorical. But I'll just give my explanations of what's going on at Manchester City right now and whether they'll bounce back. So now, before we're gonna get started, if you can like, share, and subscribe to help the channel grow. Feedback appreciative. Trying to improve these type of videos, these discussion type of videos, and your feedback and communication matters. So if you do that, that will be very appreciated. And without further ado, let's get started with this debate about Manchester City. What's going on? Well, in the last 4 games, Manchester City have lost 3 of them. They lost to Wolves in the league, they lost to Newcastle in the Carabao Cup, and they lost to Arsenal on Sunday. And what all 3 games in common are related, they were all played without Rodri. And you might say Kevin De Bruyne for the creativity side, but in my opinion, Rodri is Manchester City's most important player. And without him, it was pretty evident that defensively they were unstable. They have a backup CDM in Calvin Phillips, but 2 of the 3 games he was benched, and both of them were in the league. And the 2 back-to-back defeats in the league is the first time that Manchester City have lost back-to-back games in the Premier League in 5 years. And the only time Rodri came back was for the Champions League against Leipzig, and guess what? They won. And Leipzig only had 3 shots the whole game. You see where I'm coming from? So, why did Rodri get sent off in the first place? Well, violent conduct. I think he headbutted Morgan Gibbs-White. So stupid. And if you do that, you're off. That was more of a violent conduct than what Casemiro done when he got both of his red cards last season. And did that really have an impact on Man United? The first red card, not really. They drew to Leeds, but beat Leeds and Leicester, so it wasn't really a big problem. And the second time, yes, they lost to Newcastle. They beat Fulham, they beat in the Cup, and they beat Brentford and Everton. But the only downside was sharpness. And if Rodri does that again, he'll get a 4-match ban. So he has to be very, very careful now, because they can't be in a similar situation like that again. They cannot lose out on Rodri. They've already lost Kevin De Bruyne for a couple of months. He'll probably be back either next month or December. Even so, it will take a good while for him to get back up and running, try and get the match fitness up, because how long he's not been playing. And that injury was from a setback from the Champions League final, which you can also say for Lisandro Martinez when he got injured last season, and that injury was worse. Didn't heal properly, gone worse, and now he's going to be out until December at the earliest. So, yeah. And without Haaland scoring your goals, who is going to score your goals? Julian Alvarez, for me, is a striker. He's not a left winger. Jack Grealish, he does dribbles well, but he can't really score goals. Foden scores from time to time. Kovacic is just not a goal scorer. Doku, I don't think he's that prolific on goal, but he has pace and he can dribble, which is the modern day wingers. And as defensively, I saw that it was not stable, and they were prone to give away chances, just like Newcastle. Newcastle could have scored more than one. Arsenal, I mean, if they did not have Eddie and Nketiah up front, and they took him off earlier. And yes, I don't rate Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz is awful. He's not Arsenal standards. He should never have signed for them. But if that change was made a bit earlier, then Arsenal might score one more. And Havertz was key to make the assist. And Arsenal fans, who are the mouthiest fan base in English football, are lauding him up. And you just back him. He's misunderstood at Chelsea. We don't care. I've seen him 3 years of him at Chelsea. Awful. Playing in the Premier League as well. So, yeah. For me, one good game does not mask the 3 bad years at Chelsea. And Eddie Nketiah, for me, is not Arsenal standard. He should not be at the club. And him being called up to England. It's just laughable. It's good for a Crystal Palace or West Ham, but if Arsenal really wants to win the league and really, really want to show the ambition, he's not the guy. He's not the guy. Balogun was the guy, but they preferred Eddie over an actual goal scorer in Balogun. And guess what happens over him? He moved to Monaco and also changed his current agency to the United States. Because he was born in the US, but he moved to England when he was 2 years old. So I understand that, plus there's quite more strikers above Balogun. And yeah, we're going to go back to Manchester City now. 4 shots the whole game. And the closest they were scoring was when the header was off the line by Declan Rice. And the Ake chance a few seconds later. If that was Haaland or anyone else, mainly Haaland, that would go in the back of the net. And Arsenal would not win that game. Because attacking wise, Arsenal were very poor. Very, very poor. And yes, you can say, oh, we do not have Saka. Oh no, we're in crisis because Saka's not playing for the first time in 80-something games in a row. And, oh god, this is funny. And they can also balance out because Rodri's not playing. So both of their important players are not in the squad. So that kind of balances it out. So, yeah, Manchester City 4 shots the whole game. Haaland with 0. I've never heard that stat before. But all honesty, the game was pretty boring. It was really boring. Until Martinez's effective shot went in 86th minute, win them the game. And yes, and I will not criticise the celebrations because that is huge. That's a huge win for Arsenal. Not winning the Community Shield. Like, come on now. Yes, it's a trophy, but it's only the beginning of the season. They celebrate as if they won the Champions League. Which you can watch that video on my channel, by the way. But this time, they can deserve to celebrate like that. Because that's a huge win. And they must now back that. If they really, really want to win that league, they can't make excuses like, oh no, we're missing Saliba for the final few months of the season. No. You go there and you win the league. If you really want that bad, not one player being scapegoated and Rob Holding. That should not happen. That should not happen. You back your talk on the pitch with every single player. And then you win the league. They bottled it last year, and if they bottle it again in that similar style, get Mikel Arteta out of Arsenal. So, yeah. But Man City, what will happen to them next? I really think that when Rodri comes back and they kick off against Brighton next week, then they'll steady things up. And then, of course, the Manchester Derby is coming up in 2 weeks from now. So he'll be back through then, unless he's injured or personal reasons. He'll be back. It'll give the defence more stability. And yes, I still miss De Bruyne, but the defense wins titles. As I say, attack wins you games, defense wins you titles. And Rodri was integral for last season. He scored the winner in the Champions League final, for crying out loud. I mean, Calvin Phillips is not Manchester City standard, I understand. They should not have spent 40 mil on him. It just never works for both parties. And where they go from there, they'll bounce back. And if things actually do get worse, I'll make a follow up on this. But for now, they will not have a mini crisis. Rodri will be back and everything will be perfect. So that's where I'm going to leave it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Will Manchester City be back and running, or will things terribly get worse? So yeah, thanks for watching everyone. Like and share and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And I'll see you next time for another video. And I'm out.